Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, December 2nd, 2018. Does Devon need his family's help or does he need them to just back off? That's our poll question of the week at yrchat.com. I feel like the family needs to back off. Every time Devon comes home lately, someone is in his house, in his face, in his business. All week I'm thinking, just give this man some space. Nate and Kane have been downright intrusive upon his private life. Now, granted, Devon has been staying out late. He has been drinking more. He is choosing to spend time with colleagues and friends over spending time with his family. Those are facts. But honestly, if you had well-meaning family members who were breathing down your neck every single day, wouldn't you want to be with anyone else, anywhere else? I could be wrong, but I do not think that Devon is on drugs. Early on Friday, drugs were found in Devon's apartment, in his couch, and Devon gets home. Kane's standing there holding this baggie of drugs in front of him like he's a teenager getting caught with weed. And so far in the story, the drugs have been assumed to belong to one of these music groupies that Devon's been hanging out with. But by the end of Friday's show, Devon was having what appeared to me to be a panic attack. He was sweating and he was grabbing at his chest, and it is certainly possible that he has been partaking in a little more than just alcohol. It is possible that he's trying to fit in with these people and that he is doing some drugs. But I just keep going back to this constant pressuring that everyone in the family is putting him under, monitoring him and judging his every single move. It just seems that that pressure feels more intense than anything else. That feels more intense to me than a few late night parties or like a secret drug addiction. I think that the whole drug thing serves one purpose. I think it's a plot purpose just there to usher Shauna off the scene. I think Y&R had to create an environment in Devon's home that was a little unsafe maybe for Shauna, or an environment where Shauna might want to leave. And so they've tossed the drug thing in there knowing that she had this whole issue with her brother and her family. I feel like that's just there to make Shauna go away, which, by the way, great. Now Shauna's gonna be gone. Another piece of Devon's security ripped away from him. Devon has even said Shauna is like this living, breathing representation of his promise to Hillary, of his commitment to Hillary and to the family that they were trying to establish. Shauna was part of that. But now that Hillary's gone, and Devon is moving on with his life, Shauna is realizing, I suppose, that she has a family too. And it looks like she is making the decision to move back to Colorado to be with them now that things are going okay. She's gonna move on with her life, and really I think we as the viewers know that Y&R is just deciding to make room for somebody else's salary. I was hopeful that Anna's arrival in Genoa City would give Devon a strong new ally and not just another spy in his house and in his life. Anna's going to be living with him. She's going to be working with him too, since he has offered her Tessa's old position at Hamilton Winters. I am so glad, by the way, that Anna is going to be working on the business side of the music industry and not breaking out into a song at every single holiday event. I was so hard on that little girl when she was originally on the show as a child. But it's just sometimes when Y&R has to break out into a song in all of these episodes, it drives me nuts. So I was happy to hear that Anna's going to be doing more acting and less singing. But as soon as she gets there, she's immediately pulled into the family drama. Nate pulls Anna aside and tells her what a bad way Devon is in. She needs to be on a secret mission to keep an eye on Devon while she's living with him, while she's working for him, just to make sure that he doesn't spiral any further out of control. Honestly, I can't help but wonder if Anna would have come to the conclusion that Devon is spiraling out of control if Nate hadn't planted that seed. I would have liked to have seen Anna's neutral observation about the situation. I feel like they're making really big deals out of really little things. I mean, gasp! Devon said he was going to work, but he actually went down to the bar. So what? It's not like he was running around the bar with his underwear on his head. He was having some mindless conversation with some music scene hipsters while he was waiting for another artist to arrive. It's minor, and he probably knew that the family was gonna blow it out of proportion. You know what? This probably is the life of a music producer. Honestly, networking with these people, bringing them into the fold, making them feel comfortable, making sure that they perform well for you. That's probably what his job should have been all along. And if that's what he wants, if that's the life he wants to live, I am inclined to support him. If it's helping him move on with his life, he's an adult. He knows what he's doing. What would Nate and Neil and Kane or anybody else prefer Devon to be doing at this point in his life? Would you prefer him to be eating TV dinners and watching CBS All Access in his jammies all night long? Would that make you feel better? If he was quietly rotting away in the penthouse, would that make you happy for him, Nate and Neil and Kane? It certainly could, I suppose, turn out that he does have some secret drug addiction, but I just don't see it. And I'm sorry also, I hate to break it to you, Dr. Nate, but like 99% of Americans are on drugs right now. You probably prescribed a few of them, so could you maybe back off of him a little bit? I haven't seen Devon behaving in an irresponsible or a harmful way. Yes, Shauna lives with Devon, but Shauna's also not a child. It's not as if he's letting these people in these situations hang around a 13-year-old or something. Shauna is 18. She is an adult. Okay, Kane? Shauna and Charlie are 18. They're adults. When did Kane become Devon's parent? Besides, you know Kane went home and smoked those 2 joints anyway. All of this has to be happening for a reason. I think Y&R is making Nate and Kane so pushy and so overbearing when it comes to Devon because they're working on driving and shifting the audience toward accepting that Devon is moving forward with his life. When Hillary died, Devon lost a piece of himself forever. This was a major event in his life, yet the character can't stay in stagnation forever. We need to see him getting out. We need to see him moving on. We need to see him establishing a new life for himself. Y&R needs to get the audience on Devon's side for that. And I think by making Nate and Kane so overbearing, that has drummed up a little bit of support, for me at least, if what Devon wants is to stay out late, go to a few concerts, do whatever it is that he needs to do just to get by. I also think that Y&R is making sure to tell us that Devon may not even be the same person anymore. That he may not even be the same type of guy anymore. This could be a full transition of the character. When Devon comes out on the other side of this, the experience that he had with Hillary and losing his child and all of that may have changed him completely. Maybe even make him a little bit more unpredictable. Maybe make him a little more wild. Maybe Devon will become the wild one, the wild stallion for some poor bookwormish girl who has never quite found her the one. While Devon is out partying, Carey is having a late night wine tasting with Jack post Thanksgiving. It was so obvious that Jack was having like the best time. He was being really relaxed and smiley, and he was just enjoying the process of getting to know her. Sort of getting to know her. I'm not sure that I know a whole lot more about Carey than I did before their conversation. It seems that we're being told Carey has had a fairly typical life. Boarding schools, and apparently she's a little bit of a bookworm, never been married, never really been in love. She made sure to note she's never found her the one. But just when Jack was getting ready to crack open bottle number 2 of wine, and it seemed like maybe we were gonna get somewhere with her story, she completely disappears. Jack's like off in the other room getting another bottle. He comes back to the living room. She's gone, and she has sent him a text message letting him know that she had to go abruptly. She has to work in the morning. And then on Friday, Carey was having more wine with Phyllis, talking about how Jack was already on her good side. Carey has officially already taken over Hillary's best friend role in Phyllis's life, which is more proof to me that Y&R has brought Carey on to develop the scraps from Hillary's leftover storylines when Michelle Morgan unexpectedly decided to leave the show. But a romance with Jack? That was the poll question from last week. Are you open to a romance with Jack and Carey? The overwhelming majority, as in 94% of you, said no thanks. I'll just pass on that whole relationship. I voted yes. I mean, I don't know. Those votes seem a little skewed to me. I need to continue to look into this. I like the idea of Carey and Jack. I said that last week, but the majority of chatters apparently do not, and the comments do seem to support that as well. So, I mean, I will admit, even though I think the idea of having Jack with this younger, sophisticated woman is intriguing to me, they're probably not going to have long-term staying power as a couple on the show. Jack and Carey are not giving me power couple. The term of the month. So maybe we just need to wait it out until Devon is ready to date again, and then Jack can selflessly hand over another woman to another man. There is also the slim possibility, and I think this possibility is a whole lot more juicy, that Phyllis could have asked Carey to spy on Jack. Maybe to try to develop a relationship with him that's all a ruse so that she can get information out of him. That certainly would explain why Phyllis had treated Jack like a complete and total enemy one week and then inexplicably let him back into her good graces the following week. Maybe Phyllis has asked Carey to pry information about Jack, thinking he knows what Billy is up to, thinking that Jack can provide information about Billy's little coup that he's planning. That would explain why Carey had to leave Jack when things started getting a little too personal. She really hasn't revealed a whole lot about herself, and then she's sitting at the bar with Phyllis, confirming that Jack is on her good side. I think Carey might be working for Phyllis in more than one way. Because Billy's trying. Billy's trying to pull off his coup, and Phyllis knows it. So far, the coup seems to be pretty slow going. This week, Billy's big plan to get Phyllis out of the company is to lure some cosmetics hotshot into an exclusive partnership with Jabolco and then not tell Phyllis about it, like just work on it secretly with Kyle, and then I guess take all the credit? Is that what the plan was? I mean, it's a great idea, and he would deserve credit for it. Phyllis pretty much caught him red-handed doing this, though, and then she says, hey, thanks for the information. Why don't we work on this together? I am the CEO. Hey, by the way, the information that Phyllis used to catch Billy red-handed came from Carey. Carey didn't know what she was saying to Phyllis, but it's pretty clear that Carey is a confidant there, and she did provide Phyllis with the information that led her onto the trail of what Billy was really up to. And then Phyllis decided to turn the whole thing with Billy into a keep your enemies close type of situation. I suppose all in an effort to give him a false sense of security, which is exactly what he's doing, by the way. Like, both Billy and Phyllis are trying to get close to the other one, just waiting for the first opportunity to pull the rug out. Billy wants Phyllis out of Jabolco, and Phyllis seems to just want to use his genius marketing ideas. Phyllis needs to be really, really careful, though, for a couple of reasons. She decided to work a late night side by side with Billy with empty Chinese food containers and empty coffee cups and shoes kicked off. Careful, Phyllis. Chinese food and coffee is sounding a whole lot like burgers and fries that you had with Nick a couple of weeks ago, and we all know that type of late night work situation tends to lead to you losing your name badge between the couch cushions. Phyllis is not stupid, though. Phyllis is in fact very smart, very savvy, and Phyllis is under no illusions about Billy anymore. In fact, there was this teeny tiny little scene between Phyllis and Victoria this past week, where Victoria is insisting to Phyllis that Billy is seeming very different. He's almost seeming like a changed man. And Phyllis picks up on what Victoria is saying, realizes that maybe Victoria has some latent romantic feelings for Billy that maybe even Victoria is not in touch with. And Phyllis is really quick to warn Victoria that Billy hasn't changed at all. Billy is not boyfriend material, according to Phyllis, for herself, and she certainly doesn't want to see Victoria get drawn back into that either. I'm sure that Victoria would not believe that Billy has been up to anything horribly nefarious until Phyllis probably ends up telling Victoria about what happened with Summer. Victoria doesn't know that. And the other person, by the way, who does not know about what happened between Billy and Summer is Nick. And that seems very important to me too. At the very end of Friday's show, Phyllis was texting Nick, telling him, "Don't wait up. I'm going to have a late night at the office," and we know that she's having a late night at the office with Billy. Nick is still a little insecure about Billy. He doesn't know why they broke up. He doesn't know about what happened with Summer. So if Nick just so happens to show up at one of these late night working in the office sessions and sees Phyllis working real closely with her ex, you know the first thing that Nick is going to do is run to Crimson Lights and cry on Sharon's shoulder. And Sharon almost seems to be softening on Nick a little bit. I mean, she discovered the Nick and Phyllis living situation this week. She was trying to play it real cool in front of them both while she's standing there with Phyllis's bra in her hands. But then she later admits to Billy that it hurts to see Nick moving on so quickly, that it almost makes their entire relationship feel invalidated. Yeah, I agree. Seeing Nick move on so quickly does make their entire relationship feel invalidated. Whoa, Summer, don't go to Dubai. I had plans for you to stick around Genoa City. I had this whole triangle set up for you with Kyle and Lola. I had a pregnancy storyline where Billy was going to be the father and then Kyle was going to have to pretend to be the baby daddy in order to help you save face. And all of that's gone now. I mean, I guess. I looked online, tried to do a little research, and as far as I can tell, at the time of this recording, there hasn't been any confirmation that the actress is leaving the show. So, I mean, usually if an actor or actress is leaving, there is at least a confirmation from them. So maybe Y&R is just writing her out temporarily. Maybe they're giving the actress a break while she works on her other show, Life in Pieces. But why write her out now? I mean, they went to the trouble of even recasting her for just a couple of episodes. So why turn around and write her out now? Especially when Fenn is going to be making his debut on Monday. I assumed there was going to be a little triangle going on. Summer, Fenn, Kyle. Or maybe now it's going to be Kyle, Lola, Fenn. I don't know. or yeah, it just would not make sense to bring Fen on, who is exactly Summer's age range, and in many ways was her little partner in crime for a while, or one of her best friends, and now Summer's gone. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. But out of nowhere, Victor calls Nikki and decides that he needs to offer Summer this real estate job that's in Dubai. I mean, Dubai is a long way away. That sounds like a ride out to me. Unless Y&R's messing with us, maybe they are messing with us, doing a little fake out, making us think she's gone, and then she pops back up, maybe pregnant. Well, it's kind of hard to take a big, powerful job on the other side of the world when you're knocked up for the first time. Summer didn't jump at that opportunity right away, though. She is still working on a few unfinished projects in Genoa City, namely Kyle. It's pretty clear that she was hoping that she and Kyle were going to get back together. When she tells Kyle about the job offer, she was definitely hoping that he was going to give her a reason or an excuse or an argument not to go. But he didn't do that. Kyle is very much committed to his own career and also to the life that he's trying to build with Lola. I think Kyle very much sees Lola as marrying material, and he doesn't want to do anything to gamble with that. So he doesn't give Summer any reason to stay, and so therefore Summer has no reason to stay. She accepts the job offer, tells Phyllis about it. Phyllis tears up her resignation letter, thinking that she can, I suppose, will Summer into not going, but that's not how it works. Summer is an adult. She's able to make her own decisions, and she does. She tells Phyllis she's going to Dubai, no one's gonna stop her, and so she starts her round of goodbyes. Says goodbye to Nick, says goodbye to Phyllis, even Kyle shows up for a friendly goodbye and a kiss. She kisses him though, of course. She gives him a little tiny little peck goodbye. But my favorite moment in Summer's goodbye parade was when Abby came to talk to her, because Abby's goodbye came with a warning, and I think it's a very relevant warning, and I wonder if it's going to hearken to something we'll be seeing in the future, because it certainly harkens towards Abby's past. Abby warns Summer about the pitfalls of becoming Victor's current chosen one. It feels great until it doesn't, and Abby should know that. I mean, for crying out loud, she's been through that ringer more than one time. So has Victoria, so has Nick, so has Noah, and soon, I betcha, so will Summer. Lola's on again and off again behavior when it comes to Kyle makes so much more sense to me now. Kyle had asked Lola to spend a romantic weekend at the Abbott cabin with him. She turned him down, saying that she was far too busy, but then she was seen on her social media chilling with Arturo the entire weekend. What's up with that? Kyle asks her. And she tries to skirt around it at first, but then she cynically says to him, okay, fine, you want to know why I didn't accept your proposal to go to the Abbott cabin? Here's what I think. I think that you only want to do this romantic trip to the cabin so that you can get to the sex. And I've never had sex before. Wow! I love it. I kind of love it. It makes me feel like I know her a little bit better now. Kyle's reaction, though, he was very clearly taken aback. Call me cynical, though, but I would think that most guys would be very, very turned on by this prospect. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a guy. But I would think that hearing that a girl was a virgin would be maybe a little bit intriguing, but not Kyle. He tensed up immediately. I mean, I guess that would be a lot of pressure on a guy. At least that's what he told Mariah when he totally decided to discuss Lola's personal, private sexuality with Mariah. That was so rude. I was so mad at him for spilling all of this to Mariah. Did it not occur to him that maybe Lola didn't want people knowing her personal, private business? It's clear that she was embarrassed about it. She was talking with Abby about it later, and I mean, I was really impressed with Abby in the scene, to be honest with you, because she was funny, but also she was trying to bring Kyle's perspective to Lola's attention. Abby elaborated on some of the reasons that Kyle might be a little bit put off, some of the thoughts that might be swirling around in his head, like, is this a religion thing? Is something wrong with her? Like, what is it that's made her make this choice? But Lola reveals that no, it's not anything like that. She just wants to have sex with someone who she believes is marrying material. She has seen the way casual sex can mess up relationships and families. I mean, this puts totally into context the way Lola is. The fact that she feels that the affair that went on between Arturo and Rey and Mia really messed up those relationships, messed up those families, and she doesn't want to do that to herself. She wants to have sex when she's sure about someone because she's got other stuff going on in her life that's important to her. She doesn't want to become emotionally or physically derailed from her own plans. And that just totally made sense to me. And in that case, I really hope that she doesn't turn around and just sleep with Kyle. Making Lola a virgin has painted in so much of her character. For me, the fact that her virginity is a part of her personal code of ethics, that makes me like her more and respect her more. And so therefore, I hope that she doesn't just go sleeping with Kyle after a couple of weeks of dating him when she's surely spent years remaining chaste. And I mean, she was breaking up with him 2 weeks ago. So if she does turn around and end up sleeping with him, I think that would be a huge disappointment. I really felt for her though this week. I was with her on her little journey, especially when she felt rejected by Kyle. I mean, they had this revelation. Kyle kind of clammed up and then they went their separate ways and didn't have a chance to have a conversation about it. So the next day she shows up at Jabolco, tries to deliver him a sandwich, just a little bit of a peace offering sandwich and an olive branch sandwich, and he was cold. She felt rejected by him. And in fact, he was so busy at work, he didn't have time to eat the sandwich. He lays it down on the desk. Lola discovers it, and she is so distraught by this that he just callously threw away her sandwich. Oh, Lola, honey, don't worry, girl. Kyle wants to eat your sandwich. He's just waiting for the right time. Oh, I'm just kidding. And Kyle was actually very, very sweet when they finally did come together to talk about this. And, you know, he assures her he is not turned away. He's not turned off by any of this. He just needed a minute to process it. But that ultimately, no sex is no problem. He actually still wants to be with her, knowing that it's not on the table. And I don't get the sense that he's going to be pressuring her about it. I think he is respectful of what her decision is. That makes me like him. That makes me like them a lot better. I mean, he says he's willing to wait, and while they're waiting, he is just going to continue to focus on being the kind of guy that she deserves. I mean, this is so different from what Kyle is used to. The type of woman that he usually dates is a little bit loose. I mean, Lola is very much different from any of the other women that he's ever dated, and that is, I think, what makes her, in part, so appealing to him. Now, I'd give it at least another couple weeks before they sleep together. At least a couple more weeks. Because you know Lola is going to start miraculously feeling a whole lot more secure in that relationship and about Kyle now that Summer's out of the way. Abby should have nominated herself as CEO of Jabolco Cosmetics instead of letting Phyllis waltz right in there and take over the family business. She would have had Ashley's vote, and that would have been enough to cinch it. That could have been her new career. I thought she was happy at Dark Horse, and now all of a sudden Abby finds out about Victor's job offer to Summer and that she was never even considered for it after she's told everybody how happy she is to be working at Dark Horse. Now all of a sudden she's offended that she's not getting other offers. She finds that to be a blow to her ego. And then at the same time, she makes this passionate pitch to Nick about buying and developing a piece of real estate that's here in town, and Nick turns her down. He says he doesn't feel it's the right investment for his company. But she feels that this is a game changer. She wants to make some decisions on her own. She wants to make some big moves. This real estate development idea could be big for not only herself, her career, but also for her community. She seems to really, really believe in it. So, you know, she wants to move forward. She's afraid to move forward, especially because her last big real estate project turned out to be used by a sex trafficking ring. Oh, but Abby, just because you fall off the horse doesn't mean you shouldn't get back on that horse naked. Don't let that stop you, girl. So she buys the property on her own, and she brings Arturo in to help her do the work. Arturo is right there being Abby's #1 cheerleader boyfriend with his weird hair. What is up with the pompadour? Can we discuss Arturo's hair for just a minute? It doesn't look right. It is buzzed short all the way around, but his bangs are long and they like curl back like a big surf wave crashing onto his head. I don't get it. I don't like it. It's too much. Look at it on Monday. Short all around, and just imagine the big wave on the front of his head crashing back onto the back of his skull. It doesn't look right. Frankly, if Mia is half as good of a stylist as she says she is, then maybe Arturo does need to get back together with her so she can help him fix that. Rey and Mia have made such enormous strides in their relationship this week. They had a pretty big, heavy wall between them, but some of it crumbled and came down a little bit this week. Rey breaks down and admits to Mia that he's afraid to trust her, and that's what's been getting in his way of fixing their marriage, but he promises to try to trust her and to try to fix their relationship. I'm sure he won't be disappointed. Well, they started out with a perfectly lovely sounding pizza date. Honestly, I would rather go on a pizza date, like a yummy cheese pizza date, than to go to a fancy restaurant any day of the week. When you take me out on a date, pizza all the way. But Sharon, seeing how much Rey wants to fix his relationship, offers him a gift card to the top of the tower so that he can surprise Mia with this fancy, expensive, romantic evening. Just a little something to give the romance a shot in the arm. And it worked, too. Mia was swooning over Rey and swooning over that chocolate mousse, which looked delicious. You could take me out for pizza and then just bring me to the top of the tower for dessert. Although I'd be perfectly, well, just as happy with some ice cream or something from Baskin Robbins. I'm an easy date. But Mia was having a wonderful time, even when the waitress handed her the card back with the bill and called her Mrs. Newman because it was Sharon's gift card. Mia, it took her a second. It tipped her off to what had happened, but she really didn't miss a beat. She didn't let it ruin her evening. She just got called Mrs. Newman, figures all this out, kept it quiet, kept on smiling, kept on her date with Rey, and then went to Crimson Lights the very next day and had the most passive-aggressive confrontation with Sharon, thanking Sharon profusely for the amazingly romantic dinner that she bought for her and Rey. Hey, do you have any suggestions for dinner later? Maybe you, Sharon, can help me, you know, get lucky tonight. Oh. It was good though. It was really good though. Sharon was later talking to Mariah and saying that she really cares for Rey, and yet she really respects his desire to save his relationship with his wife. It feels a little, though, like watching a train wreck in progress and not being able to do anything to save it. So I think we know what position Sharon is in. She's watching a man that she has come to care about pursue a relationship that she knows is doomed. Oh, Sharon, we've all been there with you so many times, so I can relate. I am really looking forward to Mia's party next week. That is going to be really fun. She is redecorating the apartment so that she can throw a party for her business and network and hobnob with the Genoa City elite women. I really hope, since Mia is a stylist, that maybe there will be some makeup and some like hair stuff, like maybe some goodie bags, maybe a makeover. Maybe Mia could do a makeover or something. Or I don't know, probably not. Maybe it'll just be wine and bitchery. No margaritas though. And no murders. What Mia doesn't know is that when these Genoa City elite women get together, it can be deadly. Why do we ever even bother comparing how much like Victor Nick has become when Victoria is way more of a chip off the old mustache than Nick has been or ever could be? The move that Victoria pulled on Tessa was absolutely nothing short of ruthless. It turns out that Victoria had a hidden camera stashed in Tessa's apartment all along. Victoria caught the entire teddy bear caper on tape. And how funny is it, by the way, that we speculated that maybe Tessa had a hidden camera inside of that teddy bear? I don't think any of us saw it coming, that Victoria, as soon as she was chipped off that Tessa was the blackmailer, would have ran up there and put a camera on her. That was a good twist, I thought. So Victoria knew right where the goods were. She took the flash drive and the money away from Tessa, and the Victor Newman move threatened to pin JT's murder on Tessa if she didn't cooperate. if she said a word about any of this. I mean, who would believe Tessa over an upstanding Newman like Victoria? Victoria. She was ruthless. It was great to see her in control, but it was ruthless. I mean, the way she ripped in to Ted, my new favorite character on the show, it just absolutely ripped my heart out. And, you know, it looked like she was enjoying it, too. The way she was kind of smiling maniacally as she ripped Ted apart and threw his stuffing all over the place. It was pretty clear that Victoria enjoyed having the power. That's what it was. After all of these months of feeling powerless, she was feeling powerful in that moment. And to her, it felt good. Maybe Victoria's back. She demanded that Tessa tell her exactly where JT's body is right now, but Tessa swears that she has no idea. I believe her. Victoria believes Tessa. It's pretty clear. Tessa didn't move the body. Tessa did everything else, but she did not move the body. So who did? When Mariah arrives home from her weekend of out-of-town work, Tessa is sitting in the apartment waiting for her in much the same way that Victoria was sitting in the apartment waiting for her. And Tessa tells Mariah she knows all about her little plan, her little scheme, her little lie. Tessa lets Mariah know all about her surprise visitor Victoria too, and that she knows Mariah was the one who told the women that she was the blackmailer, and that she had to hand over the video backup copy that she made that Mariah didn't know about. And later, Mariah also found out that the money Tessa had was not given to charity. That Victoria took it back. That was a good scene. That was a really, really good scene. Mariah was gobsmacked. She later went over to Victoria's house like, hey man, why did you not feel the need to clue me in on that part of the plan? Why did you let me get ambushed? This was our undercover mission and you just let me get ambushed? This is ridiculous. Victoria and Nikki claim that they wanted to give Mariah one less thing to lie about, but all they did was hang Mariah out to dry. Mariah must be made of elastic at this point. She has been pulled in so many different directions, manipulated by so many different people, people that she's supposed to trust. The women didn't do her no favors this week. Nobody's done her any favors. The interesting part about that conversation, though, with Victoria and Nikki was that Victoria and Nikki told Mariah, now that the truth is out about Tessa, you know everything. I mean, you know the layers of everything that happened last week, too. They tell her that she needs to now make a decision about whether or not she is going to stay with Tessa. And Nikki and Victoria represented the two different sides of that argument. Victoria is someone who wishes that she would have gotten out of the cycle of a bad relationship much, much, much sooner. So she kind of represented that decision that Mariah could make. Whereas Nikki is someone who has seen her partner's true colors and she has chosen to accept them. So Nikki represented that decision that Mariah could potentially make. Mariah goes back to Tessa's apartment to talk to her now that she knows everything. I mean, the truth is completely out. And Tessa almost seemed to have morphed into this completely different person. Now that all of the cards have been forced onto the table, Tessa is just hitting rock bottom. She has no more plan Bs. She has nothing left but to be completely and totally raw. I mean, I really thought that the actress did a great job of showing us all of these different like facial expressions and body language that I really haven't seen from her before. She's been this doe-eyed, coffee serving, nice girl for months and months and months. And now we are really digging into the dirt and the grit of Tessa. She tells Mariah that, fine, you know the truth. You know all about the blackmail. I may have lied about that, but that didn't have anything to do with our relationship. Everything I said to you, all of those feelings, they were all real. I don't have anything to gain by lying to you about that now. And with nothing more to gain and nothing left to lose, Tessa tells Mariah, if you want me to make this decision for you, I will. Just go. Go, then. Just leave me alone. Tessa tells Mariah to just go. But Mariah doesn't go. She's choosing to stay. And it's becoming increasingly clear to me that Mariah is not going to go. If Mariah was going to leave Tessa, I think she would have left Tessa by now, but she's not. She's still staying in the studio apartment with her, even though she could move back in with Sharon, and Sharon would have open arms awaiting for her. Mariah's choosing to stay. And all of that is telling me that Mariah is just waiting for something to happen. I think Mariah is waiting for Tessa or something to give her a reason to do what she really wants to do, which is to stay and to forgive and to continue on. No one in Mariah's life is pressuring her to forgive or to forget Tessa, like one way or the other. Everybody has said to Mariah, it's up to you. And that's what tells me that Y&R is not done telling the love story between Mariah and Tessa. They will get back together. If they were going to break up, they would have broken up by now. I don't know where Tessa's going to work though now, if she's going to stay in town. Sharon fired her. I don't know. It is weird to me that all of these women should be encouraging Mariah to back away from the blackmailer, but they're not. Sharon has never trusted Tessa, never really wanted Tessa with Noah or Mariah, yet she's being very passive in advising Mariah what to do. Victoria, same. Victoria says she felt tormented by Tessa's blackmailer, yet she's not saying, hey, you need to break up with her. And Nikki, who has been conned by Tessa since day one, just spent $20,000 on this last little scam. I mean, they got $230 back, but the $20 that Tessa needed was gone. I mean, the money's a wash, but for everybody but Nikki. Nikki still lost $20,000 on Tessa's little scam, hasn't even bothered to confront Tessa about it, and is acting like being lied to and betrayed is just all part of a normal relationship. Well, I guess it is. It's part of her normal relationship. I don't know. I guess it's nice to see that unlike Devon's family, Mariah's family is actually giving her the space to make her own decisions. Hey, Mariah's living with an admitted con artist, but that's cool. Devon goes out for drinks 2 nights in a row. He's out of control. Well, Thanksgiving is over, but that doesn't mean that we don't still need to tenderize the meat. That was our quote from last week. Tenderize the meat. The answer was Victoria. That is part of the description that Victoria was giving to Sharon about what she was about to do to that flash drive. She tenderized the meat with a hammer. Congratulations to our winners who guessed that quote correctly. It was Justin, TB84, Henry, Nancy, Avita, Sherry, Juanita, and Diana. Congratulations, you guys all got it right. And I have a fun one for you this week. I liked this moment. Hey, who doesn't love sex, right? Hey, who doesn't love sex, right? If you think you know who said that juicy little line, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will tenderize your meat. Let's break into our comments here. Heather says, the foursome acting like they're so much better than Tessa when they're still sitting on a murder cover-up just continues to irk me. Not to mention Mariah and her own grifter history, being hired by Victor and forgiven by Sharon. It's not just the hypocrisy, but the POV. We're just starting to get Tessa's point of view a teeny tiny bit, but everyone is still like, ooh, Tessa is the first person to ever committed crime in Genoa City. POV, Heather, point of view. What a great dimension to add to our conversation about Tessa. I think you really nailed it. I have become very exhausted by this storyline at this point, and I think part of it is because Y&R has not given us the appropriate POV from Tessa, and since Y&R's not giving it to us, I'm gonna let Heather fill in some of our blanks, continuing to read her comment here. Tessa says, I learned a long time ago not to trust anyone, to expect the worst of them, and most of the time they meet my expectations. And Tessa was fully right to not trust Mariah. Good for her. It is a bad way to go through life, of course. She's a complicated, damaged, sweet soul, broken from a life growing up without parents around to raise her, fending for herself in Crystal. She clearly has the capacity to love. She's still just working on figuring out all the nuts and bolts, never having been given the tools, which Devon mentioned, to really deal with a relationship or a family. She wanted to protect Mariah and get the $20,000 in the security so she wouldn't have to worry about the goons and coming for her, or so that she wouldn't have to worry about the goons coming for her and the two people she loves again. So I get Tessa keeping secrets. Mariah's proven to talk. It's also literally her career. Yeah, I just gotta make sure that I am still continuing to present Tessa's point of view. I don't think that she as a character is entirely without one. It's just a shame that we have to reach and scratch and claw so hard for it. Daisy says, blackmailing your girlfriend's mother is not love. I don't believe Tessa. I think she was trying to keep Mariah close, to keep tabs on her, and to see if Sharon and her cohorts had info on what she did. And what better way to do that than to move in with the daughter of the woman you blackmailed? I wish we could see more of Tessa's backstory, though, Daisy says, where she came from and even how she knew Zach. It might shine a light on who she is today. I'd love to see an entire episode of her backstory. They could call it The Ghost of Tessa's Christmas Past. I love that idea. If anybody needs to receive a visit from the Ghost of Christmas Past this Christmas, it's Tessa. That would be amazing. I'm tired of filling in these blanks on our own. Give us something, Y&R. Give us a reason to forgive Tessa. Because I'm not getting it still yet. I have to work pretty hard on this one. Well, let's switch gears. Gary, commenting about Sharon, says, I think it's good that Sharon never slept with Rey. For her to be feeling left out now that he's reunited with his wife. It's kind of more pure and more touching in a way that she was just kind of reaching out and establishing an intimate relationship with someone in addition to her life, and then they just cut that off. is just as meaningful as to go the stereotypical way of having them become lovers. Is there any reason for Sharon to continue with her work on the police force? The short answer to the last part is no. I don't think there's a reason for Sharon to continue working on the police force. At this point, it's just torture for her. But I agree with you that if Sharon and Rey had just simply slept together, then it would have added a little bit more of an illicit element to it. But yeah, it does seem like in terms of the Sharon-Rey romance that having them just having been friends and a kiss, like kind of sort of getting there, I think that helps at least lend to the romance overall a little bit. Lisa called in and had a really good theory about JT and what might have happened to him. Lisa says, when JT came on the scene, Y&R said he had a heart condition from before when he was electrocuted. Maybe his heart actually stopped and he wasn't really dead. I don't think Y&R has ever brought back full circle to JT's heart condition. So that is a really good point. Number one, maybe that does speak to why he was popping pills. And number two, certainly if he had a heart condition and the women are going to check to see if he's dead, maybe he just had a really, really slow pulse or something. So maybe he was alive all along. The jury is still out for me on that, but I am hopeful that by the end of the year, Victor's return will give us some more answers on that. I also think that Billy is going to be one of the first ones to find out the secret about JT. I think Billy's getting close to Victoria. I think Victoria is going to confide in Billy, and I think Billy's going to use it as an excuse to blackmail or get Phyllis out of the company somehow. Diana says, it's not like Phyllis to be so forgiving. She had told Billy that if he ever slept with her daughter, she would kill him. We now see the two of them working very closely, side by side in her office, and all seems to be forgiven. There has to be a reason for Y&R to have had Phyllis say those words. I think it'll be that Summer's pregnant, as some of the chatters have speculated. That would be a very compelling storyline if Y&R decided to go in that direction with the characters. I agree. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it, and I'm also not ruling it out. Leslie said, I think Summer is actually leaving, but I wonder if it's just long enough for Billy and Victoria to get close, and then she'll show up with a baby. Yeah, or at least show up pregnant. That's definitely possible. Leslie says, OMG, the look on Kyle's face when Lola said it would be her first time having sex made me laugh so hard, and even harder when I thought of Allie laughing about it and hearing it in my head. That was a moment, the look on Kyle's face. I'm pretty sure I screen capped it for the website. It certainly was a stunned look on his face. Laura says, now that everyone knows Lola's a virgin, or now everyone knows Lola's a virgin, Abby, Mariah, random people at the athletic club, we chatters. Yes. I know, right? It's such a private thing to be dragged out around town. Not that there's a single thing wrong with it or that it's something to be ashamed of by any means. It's just maybe not one of those things you want everyone to know. I mean, when I finally lose my virginity, I am certainly not going to come on to Y&R Chat and tell everybody about it. Just saying. Gary also said how nice and kind Abby was with Lola. That girl is really coming along. We had to zero in on that conversation with Abby and Lola just for a minute, because it sure did seem like Abby has become almost like a mother figure to Lola, or an aunt, or maybe a big sister-in-law. Maybe Y&R's building us toward an Abby and Arturo wedding, which would make her related to Lola. But it definitely had that big sister or motherly type vibe, didn't it? Tanya says, oh, that was sweet of Arturo to buy Abby a gift. Nice scene. I'm glad that Arturo tried to make Abby feel better. She was not having that big old giant card, was she? He showed up, he was hoping to get a surprise out of her. She opens up the door, there's this big novelty card. I don't even know they still sell those. That and a bottle of champagne, and it was lost on her a little bit. I did screen cap the face she made where she was like, meh, I'm not in the mood to celebrate because I'm second guessing myself. But yeah, it was very sweet of Arturo. Arturo. Shelly says, can everyone in Genoa City please have a meeting to discuss how the name Arturo is pronounced? Are we rolling the R's or not? And would we roll both R's or just the second one? I'm not fussy about which way we're going to go with the pronunciation, but could we get some consistency? Arturo. I can't do it. I can't really do it. Arturo. It doesn't roll off my tongue quite the way it rolls off of other people's tongues. I just go Arturo. But yeah, that's a funny point. I hadn't thought about it, but it is a little bit every time someone says the Arturo. It is a little bit jarring, considering everybody else. It's like when everybody in Genoa City called Raul Raul. Raul. Oh, well, no, I guess they were all on the same page about that. It was just me calling him Raul. Katie, talking about Devon, says, I am sorry, but this whole Devon situation is really upsetting me. Kane, Nate, Neil, everyone was down Devon's throat to focus his time and energy to forgive and save Lily when Hillary died. They never gave the man a moment's peace to grieve his wife and child properly. So I don't understand why they now suddenly seem to care about his well-being. As soon as Hillary was in the ground, they moved on, and Devon was left on his own. Meanwhile, they're all still focusing on Lily, making sure she's okay, making sure she kept her spirits up, especially during the holidays. I don't understand. Does Devon's loss mean nothing just because they weren't a fan of Hillary? Oh my. Yeah, I mean, it's been a little intense on their part. That is for sure. Hey, speaking of Hillary, Daisy sent me a photo of Michelle Morgan. Apparently she posted a photo of herself and her family and her new baby, and the kid is so cute. But oh my gosh, you guys, her husband is hot. Michelle Morgan's husband is hot. They need to cast him on the show. That kid is going to be beautiful, no doubt about it. That child will probably be a gorgeous actor or actress. Can't remember. I think it was a girl. I'm probably wrong. Tony says, I think those drugs might be Devon's. It seems like he has some kind of ailment. Well, yeah, there's definitely weed in that bag, so I don't think they were... Somebody took the time to, like, really roll up those joints. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe he's got glaucoma. I forget that now there is medical marijuana, but there was pills in the bag too. I don't know. I mean, I typically wouldn't keep your medical drugs in a baggie, but I think maybe what you're saying is maybe he's got an ailment as a result of the drugs, and that is possible. He was sweating. You know, I mean, I don't want to rule it out entirely. We could find out that he has an addiction. Maybe he has an addiction to pills, and then he'll go to Jack, and Jack will console him and then pass him along to Carey. You never know. Lisa says, I really, as much as I hate to say it, think Y&R needs to recast Lily. She is such a main part of the Winters family and has so many connections. Fans are gonna get pretty bored with seeing her in prison all of the time. Lisa, I just saw an update on Soaps in Depth that apparently Crystal Khalil is back on the set. She is filming more scenes. Presumably it's gonna be more prison scenes. They probably bring her in for 2 days, film a bunch of those visits, and then we'll be seeing them for 2 months. But yeah, hopefully the fans aren't sick of it already, because we're gonna get some more of them. Yeah, I mean, she went off for a little bit, did her thing. I know she had a movie that just came out, a Lifetime movie. We talked about that last week. So maybe she's ready to come on back, and maybe she just needed a little break to go pursue some other creative projects. Hopefully it's not going to take an entire year, because I agree that a whole year's worth of prison sets is going to be a little bit taxing. Let's talk about our poll question. I asked you if you were open to a Jack and Carey romance. TB84 says, I really like Carey. So far, she's down to earth, bright, clever, and at the same time, an independent woman. I like them. I was actually counting on Jack to get back with Phyllis, but okay, why not give them a chance? Let's see how far and where it'll go. Astra voted no. The age between Jack and Carey doesn't bother me. It's the fact that I just don't care for the character of Carey. She just popped up out of nowhere with too much attitude for my liking. They are trying to warm her up, but I just still don't have a connection to the character. See, that's why I think they're going to twist it, and I think she's on some kind of mission with Jack. I'm just convinced of that now. They've got to add some dimension in there, because so far, Carey's mostly, I mean, she's beautiful, she's bright, she's all of those things, but they haven't really given us a hook. They haven't really given us the intrigue. I mean, think about Mia, the way Mia blasted onto the scene. Completely different from the way Carey just kind of slow, you know, she just sort of like was there. I think they've got more plans for her. Laura says Jack is too fuddy-duddy for this relationship. Plus, the age gap is cringy. Peter Bergman is 65. Alice Hunter is 29. But wow, Laura says Peter Bergman is fine looking for 65. He's wasted on the young. Oh, yes. I mean, I don't know. The age gap wasn't really bothering me all that much. But, yeah, I mean, I can see it. I've been talking quite a bit really since Carey came onto the scene about seeing Carey as a replacement for Hillary. Mary Ann says, I don't know if Carey was brought in to replace Ashley or Hillary, but I will say it's definitely not Hillary. So far, Carey lacks Hillary's sense of humor and charisma. She's more of a cool character, like Ashley. That's a good point. I mean, she did take over Carey did take over Ashley's job, so, you know, that is a good point. And I'll end on Sandra here because this is good. Sandra says, Carey's too young for Jack. She's too tall for Devon and too similar to Nate to get together with any of them. Maybe Carey will pick up the pieces of Mariah's broken heart once Tessa is out of the picture. That is not as far-fetched as you may think, Sandra, because I was thinking the same thing. If we see some scenes in the upcoming week where Carey gets introduced to Mariah, ding, 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 we have another lesbian. Okay, everybody, that does it for me for this week. I don't know why, but I started getting so tired here towards the end of this. I'm sorry if my energy level completely dropped, but all of a sudden I was just like, gosh, I am feeling exhausted. Oh, I think it's just maybe the weather or something. There's not even a ray of sunshine here today, so that's a little bit depressing. Maybe I just started getting tired and needing of a nap, or maybe I'm still in the Thanksgiving food coma. I don't know. But I do still very much enjoy hearing from you. YRChat.com is our website. I'm sure it will perk me up to see some comments there today and throughout the week, so please don't be shy. And I'm going to get rested up, and I will be back next Sunday to provide you with a zingy, high energetic Y&R Chat, okay? It's a deal. I love you guys. Have a good week. Bye.